Hello there, dear YouTubers. My name is King1993, and today is another day of me trying to explain another mecha, a beginner's guide in this video. And today's mecha will be called Aether. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, Aether is a beginner's mecha, and this mecha can actually, what should I call it, be used as a beginner very efficiently. I mean, there are many other mechas in this game as a beginner mecha, that is, but Arthur is basically a fast and very useful mecha in that regards. Now, the thing about Arthur is there are many different ways to use Arthur, which is why I'm gonna talking about Arthur and how to use Arthur in the training ground. So, without further ado, let's get started in the training ground. Okay. Okay. Now let's select Arthur. So when it comes to Arthur's module, I suggest that you, as a beginner, that is, you will be starting with Core 1, because Core 1 will basically give Arthur a lot more movement. Now, why am I saying this movement is very important? The thing is, in this game, the main way to actually win a fight is to make sure to give a certain mecha the ability to move as fast as possible. Okay, and having 3 of these dashing capability is a lot more useful than having only 1. The more you are capable of moving to a certain ground, the more you will likely to maintain the mecha's durability, and that is the main reason why high movement capability is very important. Okay, now the other thing will be this one. When it comes to the attack, okay, you will be using paralysis a lot more than frantic charge, so I suggest that you use this lightning blast. Okay, and in defense module there is 3 seconds for 3 seconds charging with a secondary weapon. What the heck, I do not know what this means. Convert 90% ratio of fuel spent into Mecha shield. Okay, so I suggest that you select this one because you will be having a lot more shield. Okay, so that is very important, and I do not know actually what does this mean. Okay, basically speaking, it basically takes 20% less time to this secondary attack to get charged. Maybe that's what it says. I do not know, and things that I do not know, I will not try to put way too much effort into it. Okay, and there is this one, which is propulsion. In case of propulsion, there is flight velocity for the blade, basically speaking the attack velocity. Okay, and this one is called power leap. Power leap basically gives this mecha to double leap. Okay, and this mecha can do double leap, but the height of the double leap is gonna be a lot more higher, so I suggest that you use this power leap instead of this. Okay, so that's basically it for the module selection. Now after module selection is done, the first thing which I'm gonna show you is the accuracy of this mecha. Okay, now the accuracy of this mecha is 100% accurate. Basically speaking, let's say you are getting attacked from a very long distance. If you see a certain mecha at a very long distance, you will be able to target them 100% at 300 meters away. So if you use the primary attack to destroy any mecha that is 300 meters away, then obviously Arthur is a very good mecha in that regards. Okay, so that goes for long range. And now what about mid range? So when it comes to mid range, the mid range which I suggest is the following method. Okay, if you see that the mecha size is actually larger than the crosshair size, then obviously this is an indication that this mecha is in a mid range at the moment. Okay, now in this mid range, the thing is the attack is very okay. Okay, but what about short range? In short range, you have to use different tactics. For example, in short range, the thing that you have to do is to suddenly attack in the following manners. Okay, so let's say mecha is trying to coming at you and the front, so immediately you have to double dash and then use the secondary attack. Okay, and then use the primary attack as soon as possible. Okay, it will basically paralyze them and they will not be able to move. So what is the meaning of this? It means that when you basically come to the close range, you will have a very high amount of possibility of destroying them within a very short period of time, because the secondary attack of this mecha does about 500 damage. So if you were to do about 500 damage, then obviously these mechas will be destroyed within a very short period of time. Okay, so that is basically what I am trying to say. But in case if you are wondering, okay, those are fine for long range, mid range, and even short range attack, but how about dodging the enemy? So yeah, that is another factor that you must need to understand, that when you are basically near a certain mecha, you must need to dodge as fast as possible. There are two types of dodging method when it comes to Aether. Okay, one is ground dodge. Basically you do this. Okay, that is one of the dodge. It basically confuses the enemy. Another dodge will be called the aerial dodge. Okay, now in order to do an aerial dodge, let me show you something. First of all, you do double leap this way and this way. If you are able to do a, what should I call it, an aerial dodge, okay, then what will happen is the enemies are gonna get more confused. Okay, and obviously confusing the enemy is a very important part of this game. If you are unable to confuse the enemy, then obviously they will be able to destroy very easily. But once they see that you can basically dodge and attack again, okay, in that manner, then what will happen is they will basically get scared, like what type of player is this, that this guy basically jump in the air, stay, and then hit, and then again jump and get away from the battlefield. Like, that's a very dangerous player. That is basically what they will feel like saying. Okay, so that is basically how you should be using this mecha. Now, another thing that you must need to understand, that when it comes to, let's say, doing a sneak attack, the sneak attack of this mecha is actually very good. And how do I say that? So before making this video, I made a video regarding Alborota, that Alborota sneak attack is not very good. And why is that? Alborota cannot stay in the air for an extended period of time, whereas this mecha can. So what you do is you do one single jump and then you basically attack and then go down. So what will happen is the enemy will basically get paralyzed. Okay, but also at the same time you will be going down from the place. Okay, like this is the place where you are attacking, and then once you go down, the enemy cannot hit you back because you are basically behind a certain object, and this object will be able to block the enemy's attack. So obviously from that figures, this is a very important thing on how you basically surprise the enemy with your attack. Okay, now another thing about Aether is Aether has, let's say, a very good quality of running away from the battlefield. Okay, so especially in order to do that, you must need to use this core 1, and obviously you must need to use this power leap. Okay, so why you should be doing that? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say how far can Aether actually go away from this place. Okay, so I'll be marking here an indication of where I am gonna jump from, and let's see how far I can go. Okay, so the more I can get away from the battlefield from a certain attack, the more I will be able to survive. This is basically how most of the mechas in this game work. The more a mecha is able to get away from the battlefield to stop receiving the enemy's attack, the more they are gonna be able to survive. So let's start. Double jump, 3 dash, and I'm out of the stadium. Okay, so how much distance is that? That is about 200 meters. So the thing about Aether is that Aether can get away from the battlefield within a very short period of time, to the point that it can basically go away from one place to another within how many, 200 meters away. So that is actually a very long distance, even for any of the other mecha stashing capability. Okay, so that is the thing. Now another thing that you must need to understand, that Aether is also very good in underwater battle. Now what do I mean by that? So let's say you are suddenly going from one place to another in the battle royale, because the map has changed suddenly in a place that you must need to travel between a large distance of water, and then suddenly a what should I call it, let's say a hoverboard, or let's say a unicorn user saw you. Then what can you do? Let's say the water level is about that much. So when it comes to Alborota can only get up to that much, whereas this mecha can go even higher than that. So what you will be doing is you will be double jumping, and then once you are double jumping, you will basically above the water and you will be able to shoot down the enemy very easily. Okay, So that's the very important thing about this mecha, that this mecha can actually jump above the water for an extended period of time, and which will basically give you enough time to destroy the enemy pilot, or let's say the enemy mecha or the enemy unicorn, very easily. Okay, so which is why if you are in an underwater battle, then this is one of those mechas that is gonna be very useful. Okay, and obviously you must need to be using the primary attack and not the secondary attack, otherwise obviously it is not gonna work properly. Okay, so that's the thing about this mecha. Now I cannot think of anything else. Oh yeah, another thing is the recharging thing. This mecha's recharge capability is automatic, so you basically cannot reload. So that's another thing. It has auto reload features. Obviously this auto reload, it works on a constant basis. Basically speaking, this will never get run out, and even it does get run out, it will basically recover. But how long it takes is something that you have to get used to it, because sometimes it will give you a false example of how much time it is can actually take to fully recover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it basically takes 7 seconds to fully recover all of the ammunition, or maybe sword slash, whatever it is called. Okay, so that is basically what is the maximum I can say about this mecha. And in case of fighting against another mecha, the mecha that you should be careful against is, if you're using Aether, that is the mecha that you should be careful against is Doomlight. Doomlight is one of those mecha that Aether is gonna have an extremely hard time beating this mecha. Why? Because Aether's normal attack, this is the Aether's normal attack. This normal attack can actually get blocked by Doomlight shield, and Doomlight also have this 3 turret, and this 3 turret can, if were to be actually launched behind, let's say, Aether, and Aether is keep on shooting from the front on the shield, obviously it is gonna do no damage on Doomlight, and Doomlight will be able to destroy Aether very easily. So basically what I am trying to say is, if you are using Aether, your chances of survival against a pro Doomlight user is almost 0. Okay, like let's say you will have only less than 10% chance of actually surviving. So when you see a Doomlight user, don't use Aether. That is my only recommendation, because I have been using Doomlight in a team deathmatch, and I have seen a lot of experienced Aether user, and even they get very easily defeated by my Doomlight. So yeah, that's the thing. Now let's go to the lobby to actually talk about some other topics. Okay, now because Aether doesn't actually have any reloading mechanism, giving this mecha any reloading mechanism is gonna be a waste resources. Okay, so what are the mods that you can basically give this mecha? You can give this mecha some other type of thing, such as if you were to shoot the enemy from a very long distance, then obviously you need high shot velocity. And if this mecha's shot velocity, if we are gonna talk about, then the shot velocity of this mecha is actually mid mid speed. Okay, like not the high speed, middle speed. Okay, so which is why you should be giving this mecha shot velocity. Okay, which is why I have given this mecha shot velocity. And another good thing is, with this shot velocity I have gained a little bit of long range damage and a little bit of high durability damage. Okay, and that is basically how I have gotten about 6% of shot velocity. Now when it comes to this mecha's tactical skill or combat skill, both are the same thing. Okay, these two are basically gonna be very useful, because it will basically lower the cooldown rate of Aether tactical skill by a lot. Okay, and this one is for fuel recovery. Okay, and why would I give this mecha a fuel recovery instead of reload? Obviously reloading thing, it doesn't work on this mecha, which is why I have given this mecha movement speed. Okay, now you can change this movement speed to even give this mecha some sort of what should I call it, shield. But here's the thing, with this total detail, if you were to read here, then you will be getting the following thing. Okay, what are the things? Shot velocity 6%, combat skill recovery 3.2%. Basically speaking, it will basically take 3.2% less time for the combat skill or tactical skill to actually recover, okay, or dashing capability to recover. And the secondary weapon has gained about 2%, and overall movement speed. These are the overall things that you will be getting. Okay, now this one you can basically change it to something else. That is up to you. Now in terms of, let's say, what should I call it, in terms of, let's say, pilot mecha skill, the pilot mecha skill which I suggest that you use on Arthur is actually, there are two of them, okay, that I suggest that you use on Arthur. Okay, let's see. One of them is ROM's this combat control. It will basically make the tactical skill cooldown a lot more, like 10.2%, and it will basically take 10.2% less time to actually activate Arthur's skill. Okay, that is one of the thing. Now another thing would be one, because Arthur is a mecha that basically depends on shield. I suggest that you might want to give Arthur this shield. Okay, now why would you want to give shield? Because the more durability Arthur has, sorry, the more shield durability Arthur has, the more Arthur is gonna be able to survive in the battlefield. Already, if you were to look at Arthur overall durability, the Arthur's overall durability is 3000, and out of 3000, additional shield is 800. So about how much? About, let's say, about uh, 1/4. Okay, about 1/4 of them are basically shield. Okay, and you can basically give another 10%. So Arthur will gain about how much? 10%, right? So 22 divided by 5, 400. So 400 something additional shield will be added. So the more shield this mecha have, the more it is going to be secure to use this mecha. So that is basically what I am trying to say. So anyway, these are the things that you might want to use on Arthur on a regular basis to make sure that your Arthur is doing its maximum potential of damage output as much as possible, also at the same time maintaining its durability so that it can survive in the battle for a longer period of time. Okay, so anyway, if you find this video useful, then please give a like and subscribe and click the bell notification icons, because next time I will be talking about another mecha, and next time the mecha which I will be talking about is Aurora. Okay, now in case if you are wondering how much good Arthur is in terms of jumping, obviously as you saw, it can goes away up to 200 meters of distance. That is a huge amount of distance. So yeah, Arthur is actually very good at running away from the battlefield. So anyway, see you again next time. Goodbye and stay safe.